at this. This is the cost of food. This is the cost of your basics. Every single thing is up. Eggs up 48%. Cookies up 27%. Look at what's going on. Butter up 31%. And this is just the beginning. It's a disaster.
So it's been long enough. And it's been in the point that, all right, we had Kamala already. Kamala versus Donald Trump. And the honeymoon is kind of over now. And people are trying to realize, okay, she's a girl. I guess she's black or Indian. All right, what are her policies? The problem is there's literally no policies. So we're starting to hear people try to explain why they're supporting Kamala. And this is what people are saying. From Johnny MAGA, they say, Kamala supporter says she's living paycheck to paycheck in this economy, but she's still voting for Kamala anyways because she's a wham man. So this is very common. And also, she said, well, what she says is, I don't really hear from Kamala, but I'm with Kamala, a woman running this country. Oh, God, I hope.
I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I'm stealing from Peter to pay Paul. And I know it's cyclical. I know, you can't blame the sitting president for everything that's wrong. You can't blame past presidents for everything that's wrong. But come on, guys, we got to do something.
Again, that was earlier this summer. I checked in with Michelle again after President Biden dropped out of the race.
How do you feel about the race now?
This is going to sound crazy, but I feel better because I don't know. I said on my last interview, don't really hear from Kamala, but I think I'm with Kamala. I've watched her. I think she has to get her feet wet. She was only the vice president, but I think a woman running this country, oh God, I hope.
What does that have to do with anything? So this is how it is at this point. You got the left. The left is all identity politics, or you go to the right, which is all policies. This is the thing too. Don't forget, we just had an economic, kind of crash when it came to the stock market. And that wasn't the big one. That was just the one to just rile people up. There's a big one coming. And that's why you see Donald Trump now, when he's speaking, you see him and he's actually talking about shrinkflation. It's so funny. He even has a video which he tries to explain inflation with Tic Tacs. Yes, you heard me right, Tic Tacs. He has a regular Tic Tac, how it used to look like, and now you have the shrinkflation one that's really small.
So this is Tic Tacs, right? I don't know if I like the company. I have no idea. They're so lucky. Look at all the television. This is the greatest commercial they ever had. But that's what happened. This is inflation. This is Tic Tac. This is Tic Tac. This is inflation. This is what's happened. I just happened to have, somebody gave me this one today. I said, I think we'll put it up as an example of inflation.
And people kind of forgot. We have shrinkflation thanks to something called Bidenomics. But because we just got a weird turnaround where now people forgot that Bidenomics is also the VP from Kamala Harris. This is kind of her fault too, but we did the switcheroo and everybody forgot. And the big news is that Chicago businesses are boarding up their homes because of the Democrat National Convention. So if you know, we had the Republican National Convention.
We are on Washington and Wabash outside of the Garland building, which houses a number of businesses, including stores and some restaurants and offices. Now, as you can see behind me, you'll notice that the front of the Garland building is covered in plywood. It's basically covering the windows and the door, and that's to be able to protect the building, and I should say the entrance of the building, from any any potential unrest that could happen ahead of the, once the DNC does come around here, since we are anticipating some protests to take place. Now, the Chicago Board of Services says their crews have been busy the last few days boarding up businesses to get ahead of potential damages. Now, so far, they've secured 12 locations around the West Loop, downtown, and Daly Plaza area, with plans to board up additional businesses this weekend as a preventative measure if protests related to the DNC erupt violently.
And what it was, dude, don't forget, by the way, when we had the RNC, the Republican one, Trump just got shot, right? He came out with a big old Band-Aid and stuff. They were talking, they were singing hymns. It was all positive, no riots on anything. They had a moment of silence for the firefighter that passed away, that sadly got shot when the Trump shooting happened, right? And then now we have the DNC. It hasn't even started, and the stores are starting to border up all their stuff. Isn't it kind of funny? It's how, like, I get the tolerant left.
Stop the cap.
Right? It hasn't even, the Democratic Party National Convention hasn't even started, and people are already boarding up their stuff. Think about it. It kind of gives me Black Lives Matter vibes. Remember those days? We had the Black Lives Matter. We had example in LA and Little Tokyo where it hit me, where you just had a whole bunch of stuff get jacked, especially the Nike store. I mean, not a Nike store, but they had like a sneaker shop store. Never the same again, by the way. And those places don't change. You know, they get a little better, but after the next 10 years, they stagnate. So yeah, get ready for that one. And there's some talk that you're going to have Michelle Obama up there talking too. So Twitter is kind of freaking out right now. And we're getting the Michelle Obama trans woman kind of jokes, which... that's another story. I mean, be what it be, but let's move on. And then in another story, we had an outrageous, a Secret Service agent who was supposed to be protecting Mr. Donald J. Trump decided to breastfeed the baby instead. They literally are trying to get the man offed. So what they're talking about is, obviously, he had his event, and yeah, there was a girl breastfeeding, but she was an agent. All right.
The Secret Service detail that's guarding former President Donald Trump. So this coming from Real Clear Politics, reporting that a female Secret Service agent abandoned her post in North Carolina to breastfeed her baby during Trump's visit yesterday to the Tar Heel state. The report says about 5 minutes before Trump's motorcade arrived, the site agent who manages security for the entire event did a final sweep of the location.
And while walking the route, the site agent reportedly found the Secret Service special agent in question breastfeeding with 2 other family members present in a room that's supposed to be set aside for official business like an emergency involving the president. The report says the special agent did not have permission to leave her post and gave no warning prior to the event that she needed personal time. Working Secret Service agents are prohibited from bringing children or any family members, for that matter, on a protective assignment.
Don't forget, this man like a month ago got shot and almost got assassinated, right? Because of the DEI women that they had that were no freaking good, right? And then the main lady that was in charge of all that stuff, the Secret Service, she got, she had to leave. They made her leave. And now we're finding out that we have another bunch of women's services breastfeeding, because that's more. It's like, dude, this isn't like, oh my gosh. This is supposed to be the Secret Service, right? This is supposed to be the best of the best. There is no room for error. There's no failure rate for this. It's like, no hate if you're a girl breastfeeding, but bro, this is a former president of the United States, and he almost got assassinated, and the Secret Service failed. Do you need them to fail a second time? Jeez. And then another story that we had, and yes, this was the big one, that we had a podcast with at X/Twitter or Twitter/X, whatever. It still gets confusing saying it, but anyways, we had Elon Musk and Donald Trump having a discussion, which honestly, it wasn't a debate thing. It wasn't anything. The point of this podcast was you get to see the real Donald Trump. Every time Donald Trump talks, you can't really see the real Donald Trump or talk what he's talking about, because the news media keeps attacking him and everybody's against him. and he has to have his defenses up. So this one was a casual talk. Pretty much it was more like, Elon Musk, I'm going to sit here and hear Mr. Trump rant for a while. That's what it really was. And honestly, that's perfectly fine. But the media is freaking out because they completely realize, like, oh my gosh, the views on this thing was insane. And by the way, it was live. It did even better than the live stream we had at Kick, where, you know, they gave him a cyber truck and everything, and Elon's like, oh, that's an Elon. Yeah, it was huge. So let me see them stats right here. So the amount of people, it was 46% female and 54% male that went to go see X, right? And when it came, they were saying, oh yeah, but you know, no one's watching on X. It was 25 to 34-year-olds was 70%, while 35 to 44-year-olds was 17%. So yeah, the media freaked out. And then no surprise, you got the fake news media, and they are freaking out. The first thing they said is that, so here is Eric Metheny. He says, Trump and Elon held a space that reached over 1 billion. No sponsors, no commercials, nor corporate bosses. Mainstream media is dead. And it's funny because now they have crazy ass headlines that are just cringy. Here's one, for example.
Began with 40 minutes of silence and then a bropocalypse of politics. No matter how you frame it or what caused the glitch, what was finally said between Donald Trump and Elon Musk at last night's Big X event can largely be defined as a rant filled with familiar lies and lines of attack.
Kamala wouldn't have this conversation. She can't because she's not smart. You know, she's not a smart person. She is a radical left San Francisco liberal, and now she's trying to protect. Now she's looking like she wants to be more Trump than Trump, if that's possible. I don't think it's possible, but she wants to be more Trump than Trump. She's terrible, but she's getting a free ride.
All right, but did it do what it was designed to do, which was to put the brakes on Harris's momentum?
And of course, back to the convention, Trump and Kamala. Trump is throwing some shots right now, by the way. He pretty much said that, who knows why Kamala hasn't said anything or she spoke this week. Because let's be honest, we have Kamala for a while now, and she hasn't said anything, no policies, nothing. The only thing she got was that she started copying Trump about the no more taxes on tips. And she goes and says, no more taxes on tips, just to keep people riled up. But it's embarrassing. And we even had another guy that went on to, I believe, Home Depot and just talked to random people and tell them who you going to vote for. And overwhelmingly, it's Mr. Donald Trump.
Trump or Kamala?
Trump.
Trump or Kamala for president?
Trump.
Trump or Kamala? Who? Trump or Kamala?
Oh. Not Kamala.
Excuse me, sir? Trump or Kamala?
Trump.
Trump or Kamala?
Huh?
Trump or Kamala?
Oh, Trump for sure. Trump or Kamala?
Trump.
Trump or Kamala?
Trump.
Trump or Kamala?
How about if you stop doing that, please?
Trump or Kamala?
Trump.
Trump or Kamala for president?
Trump.
Not a single person said Kamala yet. Trump or Kamala?
What are you talking about?
For president, Trump or Kamala?
Kamala. Fuck Trump.
You were the first person to say Kamala.
Right.
I don't really like her.
Well, I don't care.
What would you say to
Trump? Trump's an asshole. Belongs in jail.
What would you say to Trump if he was here right now?
I would shoot him.
Trump or Kamala, guys?
Trump or Kamala for president?
Trump.
And this is the honest truth. If you follow the media when it comes to TV, bro, you would think, man, Kamala's winning in a landslide. But let's be honest. Again, like I said this, look at the Hillary one. Man, back in those days, I thought Hillary was going to explode if you believe the TV. But then if you're in social media, which now we have X, you quickly realize it's all baloney, sir. At the end, all these maps are BS because no one voted for Kamala in the first place. So how can these things be real? She just got inserted by people with money. No one voted for her. Hence why Black Lives Matter actually doesn't like Kamala. We live in such a clown world today where everything is falling apart. I'll be honest, man. I cannot wait till this stuff is over. Everyone's on their throats. And speaking of craziness, woo-hoo-hoo, look at this one. Here we go again. Now monkeypox is a pandemic. Stay out of the bathhouse and places you get it. Another attempt to steal an election, which I was like, oh my gosh, the last thing people need to deal with is another pandemic. We already had a dang pandemic.
Today, the emergency committee met and advised me that, in its view, the situation constitutes a public health emergency of international concern. I have accepted that advice. The detection and rapid spread of a new clade of Mpox in eastern DRC, its detection in neighboring countries that had not previously reported Mpox, and the potential for further spread within Africa and beyond is very worrying. In addition to other outbreaks of other clades of Mpox in other parts of Africa, it's clear that a coordinated international response is essential to stop these outbreaks and save lives.
We already had a dang pandemic and it was horrible. It got politicized. You know, some people wanted to take the shot. I'll be real. If some people wanted to take it, that was fine. But then they're like, everyone has to take it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this was version 1.0 to see how people react. Was it real? Yes, it was real. Not saying it wasn't, but at the same time, man, did we flop so bad. And I mean, you can look at all the pictures from COVID people keep putting. Remember the days, the crazy things people were doing to cover themselves. It was crazy. So even Mr. Donald J. Trump had an actual speech to talk about it, saying that, yes, indeed, the monkeypox is just another excuse for another pandemic to keep you guys indoors, and the TV is gonna blast, Trump is bad, Trump is bad, Trump is bad, Trump is bad.
The left-wing lunatics are trying very hard to bring back COVID lockdowns and mandates with all of their sudden fear-mongering about the new variants that are coming. Gee whiz, you know what else is coming? An election. They want to restart the COVID hysteria so they can justify more lockdowns, more censorship, more illegal drop boxes, more mail-in ballots, and trillions of dollars in payoffs to their political allies heading into the 2024 election. Does that sound familiar? These are bad people. These are sick people we're dealing with. But to every COVID tyrant who wants to take away our freedom, hear these words: we will not comply. So don't even think about it. We will not shut down our schools. We will not accept your lockdowns. We will not abide by your mask mandates, and we will not tolerate your vaccine mandates. They rigged the 2020 election, and now they're trying to do the same thing all over again by rigging the most important election in the history of our country, the 2024 election, even if it means trying to bring back COVID. But they will fail because we will not let it happen. When I'm back in the White House, I will use every available authority to cut federal funding to any school, college, airline, or public transportation system that imposes a mask mandate or a vaccine mandate. Thank you very much.
Oh my gosh, I do not want another pandemic, dude. I hated it so much. And it scares me how people quickly forgot about it and then people just simply comply. It is scary. Also, when we had the pandemic, don't forget, that's how they were able to get a bunch of crazy votes. First, we had those digital voting things. Those were rigged, by the way. And then all of a sudden, somewhere around 3 a.m. in the morning, random votes came out. Who is voting at 3 a.m. in the morning? It's like, dude, the riggedness is insane. Is that even a word, riggedness? I just made it up. Just like Donald Trump. Bigly, I don't even know. Anyways. So here's another one. Leave it to a biased media to take control of the narrative, painting Kamala in a light brighter than the ones she's living in. You can't fake leadership. This is very true. So here's a video from a girl waking up. And all you have to do is do some research. It's not very hard to find Kamala effing up. There's countless videos. Even though they try to wipe them, there's no way.
So in the midst of Kamala becoming the Democrats' new poster child, I've been watching Ben Shapiro's documentary on Daily Wire Plus called Scamala. Fitting. Basically, he does a deep dive into her background, giving you facts that the mainstream media is obviously not going to give you because they're too busy transforming Kamala from a national embarrassment to a national treasure overnight without even pretending to care about what her policies are. What are they? Her beliefs, how she even got to where she is today, and I find that to be the most incredible example of how potent propaganda really is. First of all, Scamala, easy to decipher, fits her perfectly. Though you wouldn't know that if you're listening to corporate media mask her corruption and try and redefine her while making Americans forget that she was the most liberal senator and is the current vice president that for the last 3.5 years could have done exactly what she's campaigning on. She's literally running a campaign against her own administration, and she thinks the American people are too stupid to notice. Nobody voted for her in a primary. Her running mate has used stolen valor for political gain, and the same media that told us Joe Biden is as sharp as a tack are now trying to tell us that Kamala is the answer to all our problems. Get real. If the mainstream media won't expose the corruption within our politicians, someone else is going to do it.
And there's countless videos like this, you know? You also have another one. Kamala is fake. Stop telling us what you will do. You are in office. Why have you not done it? Very true. So, example, she's like, I'm going to take taxes off tips. She took that from Trump. You could do that right now. You're a vice president. Which, by the way, no one's even thinking about, wait a minute. Isn't Biden, Mr. Dementia Biden, still the president of the United States right now? Who's in charge? Dude, the United States is a crapshoot right now.
Kamala Harris is the fakest presidential candidate anyone's ever seen, and I'm going to tell you why. She keeps going off this whole idea that whenever she's president, she wants to do this, or whenever she's president, she wants to do that. Are you not vice president right now? Anything that you say you want to get done could probably get done right now as vice president, but she chooses not to. She deliberately chooses to hold out on the American people, because why would you wait to cap the cost of insulin? Why would you wait to try to bring grocery costs down? Why would you wait to tighten up the border security? Like, all of it's so disingenuous to me, and I genuinely have no idea how so many people are still falling for it.
And here's another one. Bro, when it comes to Kamala, she's been caught with all the fake AI stuff. It is hilarious. So, Kamala Harris, where they're fake supporters, if you have to astroturf that hard, maybe you don't actually have that much support. So, there was the random aircraft that they had, and it's Kamala and I believe Biden coming downstairs, and there's a crowd of people. People realize, yo, why is it that the reflection of the airplane, it's empty? So in other words, it's like AI. Like they AI'd the characters and then they just Photoshop put them on the bottom. Or probably just AI. But either way, it's fake. And there's countless ones. It's not the only one. So this girl doesn't only lie, she doesn't have any policies yet, and she's scared to debate, even though the news keeps saying that Donald Trump is scared of the debate. And Trump's just like, girl, we are gonna debate somewhere around September, right? And then there was 3 debates, and the girl's like, nah. Bruh. So, yeah, everything about Kamala Harris is fake. So no primaries, no one voted for her, fake crowds, people near her say she is horrible, and her policies are the worst. Don't forget, she was the border czar, right? The one in charge of the border. And we have the worst immigration crisis in history. And if you watch the Twitter /X, you know, Donald Trump and Elon Musk podcast thing that they had, they actually talk about it. So roughly around Biden and his 3.5 to 4 years, it's supposed to be like 160 million immigrants. But illegal immigrants, by the way, no hate on immigrants. We want immigrants. Just get in here, not illegally. You can't just have random people come in herds, let alone 160 million. But realistically, that it's actually probably more like 20 million by the end of the year. And you're like, oh my gosh, because they don't count the ones that they didn't catch. Bro! What the heck? Oh man, I'm telling you, it is the hardest thing to talk to somebody as a Latino. And you tell family members that are immigrants that they were like, yo, how can you go against immigration? Weren't you an immigrant before your tia and then crossed, they came here and it's like, yes, I understand that. But we're not talking about hate for immigrants. We want immigrants. We just need them not to be illegally here. And it's random. Also, another big one, by the way. We have people realize there's one video of this poor lady that she sold her taco or business truck, right? I believe she had like a restaurant truck van. And immigrant bought it from her. And she's like, because she needs the money. You got like a college student, did her whole degree. She's on debt trying to pay for, all her, tuitions and everything. And this person can just buy it. Some guy that just came over the border because apparently they're getting paid up to $15,000 a month, and including other checks and childs and other stuff.
I need this message to go out to our vice president who's running for president. I have heard all over social media about, excuse me if I say anything wrong, immigrants getting loans, money. Back in 2019, I purchased my first food truck. It cost me over $25,000. I paid it cash money. I worked hard to pay for this truck. I'm now selling it. I had a guy come to look at purchasing my vehicle, or my food truck. And he explained to me he's an illegal immigrant. He has no credit. He has no money in the bank. But he showed me his paperwork that he will receive funds to purchase my food truck. I'm thankful that he's buying it, but I'm hurt that I worked so hard to pay cash for my food truck. I have good credit. Can't even get a business loan. I've been self-employed for so long. But somebody, please tell me, how do I work so hard to have somebody who comes to this country, not long, no credit, and he shows me paperwork where they'll be funding him money to buy my food truck?
How is that fair? And all of that is coming from your taxes. You need to wake up, people. You're getting replaced. So, by the way, this is what people freaked out about X, all right? The conversation between Elon Musk and Trump. This is all they talked about, right? They talked about the assassination attempt on Trump and the miracle of that he survived, right? They're not going to talk about that because the media wants you to forget about that. Stopping illegal immigration, which is the second biggest thing that people are dealing with right now. And then first is the economy, because everything is falling apart. The importance of a strong president, which, by the way, do you really want Kamala to be talking to Putin, to be talking, dealing with the Ukraine and, Russia war, and then we have the whole, Iran conflict. We need a powerhouse. I can never say his name. Gene Kong. Anyways. Little Rocket Man. And also, they were talking about the inflation again, the debt, and the government spending was a big one they don't want you to talk about, because the government just spends too much dang money and nothing happens, right? It was just too much about the climate change and sustainability energy that doesn't work. We have Kamala's track record and policies, which they really don't want. The NATO and the Ukraine war, stuff that they don't want you to, know. That's why they do not want you to watch their podcast, which ironically, them talking bad about it made everyone go to X and watch it. And now it is that. So, if you made it this far, bro, give me a like. And if you like the dumbass things I say, bro, subscribe. And that'll be all. Chinmonmon out.